Everyone wants a healthy lifestyle, wants healthy finances, healthy relationships. But a lot of us are missing the root word of healthy, which is to heal. You can't get to the healthy success you want in life if you don't go through the healing process. So many of us are just beating our heads against the wall as we battle with things like being resilient, just being strong, just having the ability to bounce back. But we don't realize that when you go through a traumatic event, when you go through an emotionally distressing event, it changes you. It creates a different version of you. So resilient sometimes isn't a thing that you want, because you don't want to go back to the same person you were before the event happened, because you can't go back to that person. But you can transform, you can evolve, and that's where healing comes in, because you can become a better version of yourself. So before you get to a place where you're understanding resiliency, you first have to understand that you have to heal in order to arrive at that healthy success, to order to arrive at that healthy disposition where you can apply that to your relationships, where you can apply that to your finances, where you can apply that to your lifestyle. You can become whole and healthy mentally, physically, emotionally. But you can't ignore the word heal when it comes to healthy. I need you to bear with me on this. Close your eyes with me for a moment. As you close your eyes, I want you to visualize dribbling a basketball. Freely, you're laughing. You're moving around with the ball and it's bouncing, and you're dribbling it with your hands, and everything seems well with it. Well, that basketball, as it's being dribbled, as it hits the ground, that's the trauma that it's hitting every single time. And if you ever have come upon a basketball that has just been used over and over again, what happens is sometimes there's a knot on the side of that ball because it's been worn by the weather, or it's been hit too many times in the same place. Life has just knocked it around a little bit too much in tough storms and tough situations. But yet, resiliency allows you to continue to bounce that ball, allows you to continue to use it in its purpose. But what healing is the point where you know that that ball no longer resembles what it once did, and so you have to transform it. So it could mean cutting something off. It could mean cutting something off and then patching it with a new piece of leather. It could mean massaging it with oils until it's into a place where it's gonna be better than it was before. It could mean a lot of things, but healing is the point of transformation. Instead of going back to what you were before the storm, but how do you become a better version of yourself? One way we can do this is by addressing the trauma. Addressing the trauma is part of one of the most important aspects of this, because so many of us have experienced traumatic events. Over 70% of the globe, over 70% have experienced a traumatic event, and 1 out of 5 have experienced more than one. That means one event after another, one storm after another, one thing after another. And so at some point, we have to get the tools that we need. We have to understand some things that we have to go through, some processes, some tools we can use in order to get through those storms in a way where we're transforming. And sometimes that means relying on a therapist, a counselor, a mentor, a coach, a loved one, a family member. And sometimes that also means that you got to rely on tools that you have to build, such as recovering from a loss, understanding grief. We put too little emphasis on what grief is and what it impacts. A lot of us think that grief is just the loss of someone who we were close with, the loss of someone we love. But grief is so much bigger than that, because we lose so much in life as we go along. And some of the things that we lose are good, and some of the things we lose are bad, or they're tough to deal with, they're tough to handle. The loss of a relationship, the loss of a career, the loss of a job, the loss of a skill, the loss of an opportunity. There's so many things in life that we lose that we have to understand. Okay, well, how do I go through the grieving process? How do I get to a place where I can get to a healthy disposition mentally and emotionally, where I can operate at the fullness of myself? It starts with healing. And as we heal, then we can build upon resiliency. Then we can really thrive in the fullness of who we were created to be. And that's the truth behind resiliency. I love y'all, and I'm out.